Hello everyone, welcome back to Stale Val. I'm just going to apologise again really for the length of time between videos. Unfortunately, I think a lot of you now are pretty used to me being fairly inconsistent with my updates. Unfortunately, with busy working life, etc., it becomes hard at times to do such things. So apologies that there has been probably quite a time delay between the last video and the next. Today, the day that I'm filming this, is the last day of some annual leave, but you will be pleased to know that things have happened and there is a considerable amount of progress. So I'll flip the camera around and I'll show you what I've been up to. So I obviously alluded to it before. You'll remember my previous sort of layout on a board was a 4 foot by 2 foot board, which just had the single loop on it. About this time last year, I decided that I wanted a bigger layout where I done 2 foot 6 wide by 6 foot to try and incorporate a sort of station area in the middle. I built that didn't work very well, so obviously that was part of what I'd done a few weeks back, was dismantled all the track and went back to the drawing board, and I'll come up with this. So we're still 2 foot 6 wide, but it's 5 foot, so it's a foot longer than the other board. It does store just about, I think, probably still miscalculated slightly. May have been better to split this board in the middle, but hey ho, you learn these things as you go. But as you can see, with this board, I've actually managed to achieve a lot of what I wanted to achieve, and as you'll notice, I've actually got double running track as well, so I've managed to fit a lot in. So obviously if I start here, the idea of this is, in the future, if I was to do another scenic module, this is basically going to be a relief road or spare road to run round and connect on, so that obviously this board could effectively act as a fiddle yard or storage area for trains that wouldn't be on the scenic bit. But as you can see, you come round on the junction here, obviously you come round the curve, and you've obviously got the sets of points there and there to get on or off of either loop. Obviously loop goes right round, and then when you're in the inner bit, obviously you've got this point here, which then runs off, and this is effectively my end of the line sort of terminus. Again, the compromise, in an ideal world I wouldn't have wanted all of this, but running out of the space that I have to make at least a sufficient sort of 3 to 4 coach station area, I've had to compromise by sort of curving away the point to have the run round loop to run the loco off and then back round the release road. When I sort of got in and actually sat down and started looking at this, all I really knew was about the loops round and wanting this station bit in here. So all of this sort of framework that you see here sort of spurring off wasn't pre-planned. It just, as I was building everything, it got to the point where I was like, okay, yeah, I can add that in. I've got the right points, because obviously, other than the cost of the new board, there's been no other financial outlay for this layout. All the track I've already had, all the points I've already had, so it's just the cost for the actual board, the bit of paint. As you can see, I've obviously painted the board. So this area I basically figured out as I got to laying it all, because quite simply put, it wasn't pre-planned. I knew in an ideal world, if I could do it, that I wanted to. So the idea is you come off the release road here. Obviously you've got a point. Let me just zoom you in a little bit more. So you've got a point that comes off the run round road, and here is a Y point. This just goes off to a siding. Now in my head I was sort of thinking that if this was a sort of end of line branch line, this might be a very small one single road little engine shed, so maybe storage for a loco. Then obviously if you don't go that way and carry on going up, you go past the other Y point, and this runs up into a bit of a head jump. And then the idea is obviously you can flick the point over and then you run back into these couple here of sidings. Now the idea here would be that probably a good shed would be placed here, and this would be like a storage road for any wagons once they've been unloaded. As you can see in the gaps in the track here, here and here, that's where they're already pre-cut for the Dapol Easy Shunt coupling magnets to go in. So that's going to be the next thing to put in, but that's sort of what I've been up to really. Yeah, I mean the next bit is, although this isn't going to be able to be permanently scenic because obviously the way it's being stored, as you can see from the cork, I have also taken the time to paint the cork grey, because once I'm happy that it's all running well, I am potentially going to consider doing the ballast on this one, and also things like a little goods shed if I can find one, obviously, because there'll be nothing stopping me once it's down flat as it is currently, that I can't, if I, you know, put a couple of storage buildings on. I may potentially look at a little bit of grass, so there'll be very potential minimal scenery in the future, but that's going to be once I'm fully happy that it's running in the way that it should be, that I don't need to make any amendments. When I did a test the other day, I seemed to have a dead spot just there and then just here, but everything else seemed to run okay. So I just need to iron those sort of things out realistically, and then that's where I'm going to put these sort of things in. So that's what I've been up to. Also the other thing I have been doing is starting to convert some of my Pico wagons to take the Dapol NEM pocket couplings. So again, that's some activity that I've done, and I potentially might do a video just to show what I've done with that. So thanks very much for everybody who stuck with me and keeps sending comments. I really appreciate it. Please do feel free to comment with anything, and I look forward to seeing you all soon. Many thanks. Bye.